Now, everything your mama told you about sitting too close to the TV, you're gonna need to throw all that out of the door. Because in this video, we are going to be checking out these guys. These are the Nreal Airs. These look like normal sunglasses except for the cord hanging off the side, and really for the size and how lightweight they are, they really do provide a pretty good VR experience. Nreal did reach out and sponsor this video to get them featured on the channel, but of course I'm still going to be giving you the pros and cons, as there are a few cons that we'll get into a little bit later, but I do believe the pros definitely outweigh them. I would say these glasses are somewhere in between, kind of like the Google Glass of the past and these things. They feature a mode where you can like do work and things and actually view a YouTube video off to the side, or you could dive into their full AR virtual reality environment. In the box, of course, we get the glasses in this nifty little carrying case. And with the glasses, you're going to get a couple extra of these nose pieces, small, medium, large, so you can attach the proper one for your nose size. We get these covers to go ahead and pop on the glasses if you don't want that kind of see-through experience and you want it to be blacked out a little bit more. And one thing that's really cool is that we get these little lenses here, so if you have a eye prescription, you could actually get these attached to that. These glasses are USB-C, so they do support a couple different Android phones, including Samsung, LG, and a couple other brands, but I will leave a full list so you can kind of skim through and see if your phone can support it. The favorite thing about these is probably using it as a gaming device. With these, the Type-C, you can plug it right into something like the Steam Deck, which has been my personal primary use case. Or you could get their little adapter here, which will support most HDMI devices, so you can hook it up to your Xbox, PS4, Nintendo Switch, really whatever you want to be using. And if you get one of these, this is the Lightning to Digital AV adapter, then you can use it with an iPhone. And if you happen to be within the Apple ecosystem, they actually have a really cool application for MacBooks and other Apple devices, so you can kind of get that multi-workspace, multi-monitor virtual environment thing. Really handy. So now on to the specifications. The first thing and probably the most important thing is going to be the displays. The displays are hidden in the top facing down, and there's this glass mirror type thing that will reflect it perfectly onto your vision. And when you pop them on, and kind of the look they're going for is for you to be looking at about a 130-inch screen from about 3 meters away, and based on my experience, it's pretty accurate. The full resolution is technically 3840 by 1080 on an OLED screen, basically giving you full HD per eye, and it has a refresh rate of 60 Hz. Now, looking at the build of the glasses, it's pretty standard. Right here, you will have a button to actually turn off and on the display. We have a volume rocker here. There are some microphones, so we have a microphone on the top and bottom of the right kind of earpiece here. Both earpieces have little speakers right here, which conveniently kind of face down, pointing right at your ear. Right here in the dead center, we have a little sensor, so it can actually see if you are wearing the glasses. That's one thing to be kind of wary of. If you have prescription glasses and you don't want to end up using these, is a lot of the times it can think you're not wearing them when you have glasses over these. For connectivity, the Type-C is actually in a really good spot. It's poking out right here, and the Type-C cord included does kind of divot down, so when we plug it in, it's going to kind of drape over the ear perfectly how you'd expect it to. Just like that. Hardware is pretty impressive, but with that they are very light, so they come in at about 79 grams, which comparatively speaking is substantially lighter than one of these. I think these are just over 500 grams, and me wearing something like the Meta Quest for more than like a half hour kind of gets annoying. I was using these to play games on the Steam Deck for like 2 hours, and it's pretty comfortable. When it comes to the audio, basically the speakers sound they're going to get you by. They sound pretty good, especially for being pretty close to the ears. You can plug in headphones to whatever device you're using and have more of an immersive experience that way. And the microphones sound okay again for what they are. I'll play a little clip from my little first look in their AR environment. We can change our volume, brightness. Here we have some weather, so if I tap, there's basically 2 ways to actually connect to these and use them. And the first thing is going to be through their Nebula application in the AR environment, and 2 is going to be a direct connection to a device that either supports Type-C or using their little HDMI adapter here, which is cool too because it does have a built-in battery, as there's no battery integrated into these glasses, so it will need to feed off this if you're using HDMI. Says this thing fully charged will give you about 3 hours of video playback, and it's cool. There's a little button here so you can check to see how charged up it is. Now, probably the main and most immersive experience is going to be through their Nebula application here. This will give you kind of the traditional VR experience you might be expecting. So I plugged in my glasses there. We have the AR space and air casting option. If I go and jump into the AR space real quick, it's starting to switch over on the glasses. And at this point, our phone will kind of turn into a motion sensing device where we could go and pick things on our AR screen and use this trackpad here. And in this application, if I touch down here, we get some additional settings such as head tracking, body tracking. We can recalibrate it. We have our screen mirroring. But what's going to be real nice real quick is the record screen. So I can kind of show you guys what this looks like here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that, start now. And now this right here is the experience we're getting. As you can see, if I move my head around, we can see just about everything. And what you're seeing on the video is basically exactly what it looks like, with just a little bit of a light bleed around the edges. And this is the default setup. I haven't really done anything at all. We could change our volume, brightness here. We have weather, some shortcuts to some things over here. And for example, let's say we wanted to open up a YouTube here. Then we can see the YouTube application. We have options to open up more windows and actually have a pretty immersive working experience. So if I opened up another thing here, for example, I could just use this little trackpad to kind of scroll through my situation. I could go back and forth with it. And if I'm focusing on something, I can scroll down to check all that out. Now, if I'm on a web page here and I hit the home button, it's not going to close it out. You could actually see how the multitasking workflow kind of works. It just goes off into the background. I could continue doing what I'm doing and then just tap on where I was. I can reposition the background tasks and just kind of throw them wherever I want. Overall, it's just a pretty cool experience. We have web photos, some tutorials here, and this is just the very bare minimum of what you could do. There's really a lot going on in this Nebula application here. Now, Nebula app is cool and all, but how does this thing do with gaming? Short answer is it's freaking awesome. Usually when I play the Steam Deck, it's getting close to bedtime, and I'm holding it up like this laying down. Hands get a little tired and whatnot, but being in bed and plugging this in and kind of just laying there like this, not having to look at your screen, looking straight up at the ceiling on a huge display, or what perceives to be a huge display, is a really awesome gaming experience. It's a little harder to record that. The Action Nebula app, as you saw, has a built-in screen recorder. Actually holding up a camera to these lenses kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking at, but really doing that doesn't serve these the proper justice that they deserve. When they first offered this kind of video deal here, I was super skeptical in how they would actually work considering how small they are. But it really is almost perfectly on par to like the visual experience as this, if not a little better, because it's not actually having to handle any like processing or anything itself when it comes to the graphics rendering and the pixels and all that. The display on these are definitely a lot better. Now, of course, there are some cons. The glass in here, if it's too bright and you throw on the kind of cover here, it ends up acting like a mirror, and like right now I can see my chin and beard moving around. When you actually have the display on, it's really not as bad. And these are definitely more than usable in a light environment, but it's not going to be the perfect immersive experience. Like I said, using them at night in a darker room to game is definitely going to be the best experience that you could have with these things. Somewhere between that or using them to kind of like watch a YouTube video in the background or in the upper corner while you're kind of like cleaning up your house or doing something like that. So yeah, overall these things are super comfortable. They're super fun to game on. I played around with the experience on the MacBook Air for a little bit with that kind of multi-monitor setup, and it was really cool. It's not something I'm personally used to nor desire, but after using it, I can find some more situations to take advantage of that tool. I personally see myself grabbing these Nreals versus the Quest in literally almost any circumstance. So one, if you're interested in purchasing these, of course, I'll leave a link down below. And two, if you're interested in checking out that project, I'll also leave a link to that. So with all that, I do hope that you have an absolutely beautiful day and goodbye.